All right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Am I live yet? Am I live? It says I'm live. It looks like I'm live now, so that is awesome. Glad to see you guys here. Glad to see Alex McCarthy already in the chat. We have Heroic Avenger 96. I like that name. That's awesome. What's up? What's up? This is what happens when you put the beanie over your eyes. You end up late because can't see the way to the computer. Hello, hello, hello. We have Cameron in the chat. We have Vincent in the chat. You're live. I am indeed live. Thank you for that. How are you all doing today? I hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. Proper Jenny. Hello, Proper Jenny. How are you doing? We have DJ in the chat. Nice to see all of you guys here. Yeah, so it's awesome to be here. Awesome to be talking with you. The Senate is in the chat. What's up, my blind compadre? Oh man, yeah. I hope we get blind Josiah in the chat too. That'd be awesome. I don't know what that says about me. That like one of the first parody accounts of me is a blind Josiah. I do have really good eyesight though, guys. I really do. I have 20/15 vision, so you can't get much better than that. Also, look, I work with screens a lot, guys. I work with screens all the time. Like I use computer screens a lot. I watch movies a lot. I'm always like looking at screens. My mom got me this lutein for my eyes and stuff, and she's like, you have to take your lutein so you don't go blind. And yeah, so I'm trying to get better at taking this. I'm terrible at taking any sort of pills or vitamins or anything like that. So I've only taken this like maybe twice, and it literally just sits right here, and it's been sitting there for a couple months and stuff. So I need to get better at that, because yeah, I really don't want to lose my eyesight. I really don't. I mean, I have pretty much as perfect of eyesight as you can get and stuff. So I really don't want to lose that at all. You know, it is a proper Sunday. It is indeed. I didn't go to church today because my daughter was sick, so I was taking care of her almost all night. She had a fever of 104 degrees, so it was pretty intense. It was a pretty intense fever, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. You know, this she was like really really hot. It was insane. It was actually insane. We were like, oh man, it's starting to get to the point where we might have to actually take her in. And then I was like, well, you know what? Let's just pray. Let's just pray for her fever and stuff. So my wife and I, we put our hands on her and we prayed for her. And then like, I'm not joking, guys, like 10-15 minutes later, her fever came down to about 99 degrees. And then we all went to bed, and yeah, it was pretty good. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Really awesome to see God work that way. Terrence in the chat. What's up, Terrence? Glad to have you here. Is she okay? She is doing better now. Let's see. You don't have 20/20 vision? Fail. I do not. I have 20. I might have 20/20 now. The last time I checked, I had 20/15, and that was back when I was like, maybe I was like 20 something. The last time I checked, around 20 years old. So I might have 20/20 by now, but I'm not sure. Hey, we have Proper Josiah in the chat. Hello, Proper Josiah. Welcome to the stream. Now, if we can get Blind Josiah in here, we'll be all set. I think those are my only two parody accounts at this point. But yeah, yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for that. I'm glad that she's still kind of a little bit sick and stuff, but her fever is nowhere near as bad as it was. So we're just kind of monitoring her. We might if. She does kind of have like a pretty red throat and stuff as well. So I don't know if it's strep or something, but if it continues to get worse and stuff, then I'm gonna have to probably take her to the doctor tomorrow or something to get checked out. But yeah. In other news, well, thank you for that, Proper Jeremy. I appreciate that. In other news, I actually also got a haircut, guys. I got a haircut, and it is a doozy. I've never had a haircut like this at all. Okay, this is crazy. This is a crazy haircut. I really stepped out on a limb with this haircut, and it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So maybe I'll do a reveal of it. We'll see how I feel about that and stuff. But But yeah, and I also am not streaming through OBS. I'm just streaming through Google Hangouts in case there's anybody that wants to jump in at some point for the stream. And we might get somebody in here at some point. We'll see. Let's see. Endgame was epic and looks like my prediction was right after I sent you that video to Messenger. I don't think I saw that video. But thanks anyway for that. Price is Right. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you thought it was epic. Let's see. Yeah, I may or may not be bald, guys. You never know. You never know. um, but yeah, I thought we could talk about Endgame. We could talk about Avengers Endgame today. We also have Game of Thrones coming tonight, and this is going to be a crazy night for Game of Thrones. It is the Battle of Winterfell, and it's going to be insane. I don't know how I'm going to handle this fight. We're probably going to be losing a lot of people, unfortunately. This is going to be a rough weekend, but I'm glad that I was able to see Avengers Endgame twice. I did go see it again last night, and that was really awesome. And I actually really enjoyed it a lot more on the second viewing. The first half of the movie, I was not really a big fan of at first, and anyone who saw my spoiler-free review knows that and stuff. But on my second viewing, I really liked it a lot more. So it's really awesome to kind of see how the whole movie really fits together a lot more with the second viewing. Talia, welcome to the stream. I'm a hardcore Marvel fan too. I've been loving your coverage of all things Endgame. It was incredible. I loved it. How do you feel about old Cap? Yeah, I really liked what they did with Tony Stark's ending and Captain America's ending. And I'm just gonna say right now, everyone, there may be spoilers. We're probably gonna be talking about spoilers and stuff. Actually, you know what, guys? I should probably put that in the title just in case people come into the stream that don't know anything about the movie and stuff. Let me just throw that in the title real quick. Spoilers may abound. There we go. All right, and let me I'm going to share this on Twitter real quick as well, guys. So just give me like 2 seconds. Let's see. I'm live right now. Join me or suffer the wrath of Thanos. Okay. So yeah, it's it's been a really fun weekend. It's been insane. It's been really insane. I'm just gonna send an invite to some people as well if anyone wants to jump in. Let's see here. Let me just send this out real quick. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is my chat for this? Okay. Boom. Boom. I think we are all set. So let's get back to the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Steve's ending was indeed perfect. It really was. I thought that Tony Stark's ending and Steve's ending were both about as perfect as you can make them. I actually had them completely backwards. I thought that Captain America was going to die and Tony Stark was going to live and stuff. So I had that backwards. But what they did with these characters was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I think Tony Stark's journey throughout this entire franchise, throughout this entire series, has just been amazing. Like looking back at where he started in the first Iron Man movie and then seeing where he ended up in Endgame, it was just like, wow. I don't think there's ever been a character with that amazing of an arc before. Like he seriously has one of the best character arcs I've ever seen. So it's incredible. Robert Downey Jr. absolutely destroyed it in this movie as well. He was so good. He was so good in this movie. His performance was just out of this world. So yeah, it was fantastic. Hey Ruth, thank you for being in the stream. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for modding the chat for me. I really appreciate that. Let's see. Timothy Ross, black, straight, Christian, conservative male. Are you saying that you're a black, straight, Christian, conservative male? Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. I'm so glad Endgame made this much money. The film meant so much to me as it kind of the end of my journey as well. Went from kid with anger issues and behavior problems to deputy head boy, 11 years. Dude, that is amazing. That is really awesome, DJ. It's so awesome to hear things like that. Yeah, and I've been kind of, I've been reflecting on my past 11 years of my life as well and stuff, and it's just crazy having this series being a part of my life for such a long time. And yeah, it's just really awesome. It really is. You know, yeah, Endgame has problems. Okay, Endgame is not as well put together as Infinity War, I don't think. But with all that being said, Endgame is still like a really, really beautiful love letter to the past 11 years of the MCU. Like, I don't know. Sure, there were some things that could have been better for sure. Some things that creatively could have been different that I think would have helped the story a lot more. But overall, I am pretty happy with what they did with this film. I really am. So it's not as good as Infinity War, but it's still amazing. The second half of this movie, especially, is probably one of the greatest things I've ever experienced at the cinema. It was absolutely just incredible. It was incredible. Um, as husband, not cool what Cap did, ruining some dude's life with Peggy. Just saying, but I do respect your opinion. Um, but did she ever? I don't remember. Did she ever actually get married? I honestly do not remember. I thought that in Civil War she said something like she never married. Am I missing that wrong? I don't know why, but I thought that I remember that from Civil War. Um, crap, I really can't remember. Honestly, I really don't remember. I'll have to rewatch Civil War to see about that. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they handled that. I mean, did Steve Rogers go back far enough in time that that dude never even like was around? Because like if Steve Rogers went back far enough, then he could have just still been a part of Peggy Carter's life and stuff without her even knowing about this other dude. Um, there's a ninja Josiah. Oh boy, I didn't know that was a thing. Where's the ninja Josiah? Wow, there is a ninja Josiah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Oh, that's incredible. I love that. So much history depends on what happens to Captain America. Cap ignored all the warnings, and a lot of individuals skip over the fact that Loki took the Tesseract. Yeah, Loki taking the Tesseract was, I can almost guarantee you, was kind of their setup for the Loki show that they're going to be doing on Disney Plus. The thing is that like, yes, these like what they did in the past and stuff, and all the changes that they made did affect like the past, but it didn't affect the future, if that makes sense. And they actually kind of described it really well in the movie, where they're like, the past is a different thing that happened, and then the future is a different thing that happened, and there's it all just kind of depends on how they affect the future moving forward and stuff. It was kind of weird, the whole time travel is always like one of those really, really tricky things to do in a film. And that's why at first I was not really a big fan of them taking that direction with the movie. But after watching the second time, it really did come together a lot better for me. So hey, Tight Talk, welcome to the stream. I've been doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, in Winter Soldier, she says Cap saved her husband in World War II. Interesting. I'll have to rewatch those movies and stuff and see. I honestly I wanted to rewatch the entire series before Endgame came out, but I just did not have time to do that, unfortunately. So I watched Infinity War before Endgame, but that was it. Hey Brandon B, welcome to the stream. Who cares about that other dude? Peggy and Cap deserve each other. I totally agree, proper Jeremy. And I mean, them having that dance that they were talking about in the first Avenger at the end of Endgame there was no other way they could have tied off this movie more beautifully. It was so beautiful. I just had a smile on my face, tears in my eyes, and it was just like, it was incredible. I was absolutely speechless at the end of this movie. I really was. Loki teleported to Disney Plus. Yeah, I guess he did. And I heard that the Loki show is going to be kind of like a Doctor Who type of show, like it's going to be Disney's version of Doctor Who in a way. So that'll be interesting to see how they do that. Um, the gay Joe Rousseau scene was strange. Yeah, honestly, that didn't really bother me all that much. I thought they did a really good job with, putting that into the movie in a way that still fit into the narrative, into the story. Like the point of what he was saying there wasn't necessarily about him being gay. It was about them still struggling after the snap and stuff. So I thought they handled that part of the movie actually really well. Um, so I didn't have a problem with that. I thought the Rousseau brothers did a good job with that part. Um, but yeah. Let's see. I'm not happy with Hulk and Thor. Were written in this film. Hulk a total non-factor after the snap and did not smash anything. Thor a fat slob. You've got to be kidding. I agree, James Johnson, for the most part. At first, when the movie opened up and we saw how much these characters were affected at the beginning, I didn't have a problem with that. I did not have a problem with Professor Hulk or Fat Thor at the beginning of the movie, but they totally should have changed by the end of the movie and pick themselves up. Thor, when he grabs Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, and then the lightning hits him and his beard changes. Like that's pretty much the only thing that changes. They should have had him be the muscular Thor that we have grown to love so much. Just keep him as Fat Thor throughout the rest of the movie is just not a good decision. I didn't think so. And then I think the biggest miss of this movie was that we never got a rematch between Hulk and Thanos. That was a huge mistake on their part. That I don't know. I was just baffled. I was like, how do you miss that? How do you miss not putting that in the movie? That's like what everyone wanted to see. A rematch between Thor or between Hulk and Thanos, and they did not give that to us. It did not make any sense. I don't know why they didn't do that, but I don't like the fact that Hulk is now kind of like a it's kind of like Hulk and Thanos or Thor both kind of feel kind of effeminate by the end of this movie and stuff in a lot of ways. Like they just feel emasculated, and I don't really like that. I don't want an emasculated Thor or anything. That's just not how I mean, Thor's like one of my favorite characters, so it just depends on how if he does return in the next movie and he's kind of back to himself, that his badass self and stuff, then that's fine. I'll be fine with how they ended Endgame with Thor. But if he continues to just be fat, whiny Thor from here on out, then I'm not going to be happy with that. And I'm not going to be happy with it if this is the last time we see Thor either. If we end with Thor on this note, I am going to be pissed. I will be pissed. Yep. Let's see. So what happens to the MCU now? That is a really good question. I can guarantee you that the only thing we really know about it now is that they're going woke. Beyond that, we don't know what else they're doing really with the story. I mean, we know some things like the Eternals is going to feature the first openly gay like main character or something like that. The Black Widow movie is going to be a prequel. So we know like a couple of small things like that, but overall we still don't know exactly what's going to be happening with the MCU moving forward. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. I believe they're going to be announcing details after Far From Home. So yeah. Yeah. I didn't have a problem with Professor Hulk in isolation, but the fact that he was just kind of a wuss throughout the movie and he never had like that amazing moment where he just like loses it in any of the fighting at the end or anything was just kind of weird. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird. Maybe that's how he is in the comics as Professor Hulk. Maybe he's just never like angry Hulk anymore. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Those are just kind of my thoughts about it. Black Widow is bae. I totally agree. Why didn't they sack Captain Marvel? Why did they sack the best female in MCU? Well, they have to have Captain Marvel take the reins now in this movie. I mean, that's the whole point of the MCU going woke and stuff. Like, but I totally get what you're saying. Like, why do they have to get rid of like literally one of the best female characters of all time? And then just to kind of pave the way for this new female character who's nowhere near on the level of Black Widow. Doesn't make sense to me. Anybody notice the Disney movie tie-in Cap dance scene to Old Man Cap was Mr. Fredrickson from Up the House song and all? I did not really think about it that way. The gay thing was literally nothing. I don't understand why that's such a big deal. I totally agree. Proper Jeremy, I really was not that big of a deal at all. I thought they handled that actually pretty well, to be honest, in the movie. Let's see. Yeah, Mark 115. That was fine. Nothing wrong with gay people. It wasn't painfully forced like Whammon Assemble. Also, wasn't a huge fan of Pepper because she took over the other female leads that deserve it. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I don't have a problem with that part in the movie. The part where let's see, it was Joe Russo, right? Yeah, Joe Russo, who was playing the gay character and stuff. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought they handled that really well, to be honest. Yeah, wasn't a big issue for me. And let's see, Pepper because she took over the other female leads that deserve it. I don't know. I think Pepper deserves any screen time she can get. I mean, she's been around since like the beginning. Tony Stark would not be the man he is without her. So, you know, she deserves any screen time that she gets, to be completely honest. Graves, welcome to the chat, Graves. Let's see. I didn't have no problem Iron Man killing Thanos. At least it wasn't Captain Marvel versus or AKA Captain Pampers. I'm glad that that Captain Marvel wasn't the one that defeated Thanos for sure. Let's see. I wish all heroes died in Endgame, including Thanos, so that the meek inherit the earth, sort of thing, and Age of Heroes ends. That's a really interesting thought. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I mean, I'm a huge fan of superhero movies, so I'd be sad if there were no more superheroes in in the MCU. There was definitely not enough Hulk smash. We didn't get like any Hulk smash. I mean, you know, the one scene when they kind of went back in time to like the first Avengers movie and stuff, and he's like rah, and he like hits like the car or something, then he like picks up a motorcycle or something, rah, rah. It's just like, what are you? What? Okay, I guess this is funny, but this better not be how you are throughout the rest of the movie. I want Hulk, man. I want the actual Hulk. Come on. Hey, Snowdub Music and Entertainment. Welcome to the chat. What's up, buddy? How are you doing? I'm doing great. Let's see. No, as Professor Hulk in the comics, he got mad at times and kicked ass. Well, then that just makes him in the movie just even worse, to be honest. Like, come on. Nobody just wants to see emasculated Hulk in the movie. We want Hulk. We want the actual Hulk. There totally needed to be a rematch between him and Thanos, and we didn't get that. Like, how do you miss that? How? But I guess they had to make screen time for Captain Marvel, so yeah. Whatever they needed to do to check off those woke boxes. Cap returning the stones made no sense. The Tesseract is crushed and it is not a cube. How is he going to return the ether to Jane's body? Yeah, I guess somehow he implanted it back in Jane. I'm not sure. I don't know about that. That's a really good point about it not being a cube anymore. That's actually a really good point. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes with this movie, guys. There's a lot of issues with this movie. There's a lot of very glaring plot holes in this movie. Like, you know, people keep on mentioning like Peter Parker at the end of the movie being there with Ned and stuff, and like there was no changes. Like either Ned got snapped too, and in that case, he wouldn't really miss Peter Parker really because, you know, I don't know. That was just kind of weird. So there's a lot of plot holes with this movie for sure. And I'm not saying this is a perfect movie by any means, you know, definitely not. But I still loved what they did with this movie. just with like what they did with the characters and stuff, you know. Hmm. Um, let's see. We lost the real Hulk for a weak excuse of Hulk. Totally agree. Iron Man had a trilogy, Thor had a trilogy, and Cap had a trilogy. Hulk only had one movie that no one really remembers. We needed an Incredible Hulk sequel. Yeah, the reason that they don't give Incredible Hulk like his own sequel is because Universal Studios or Universal actually owns some of the rights for Hulk or something like that. So like if they made a Hulk movie, then like Universal would get some of the money for that too. But because he's like in movies with other people, then they don't have to like split things with Universal. Something along those lines. It's a really complicated uh, business thing. But yeah, that's pretty much why we never really got another Hulk movie. And I'm a big fan of the Incredible Hulk film. I really am. It's one of my favorites. I think it's like number 8 or 9 on my list for MCU movies. So yeah. The plot holes probably exist because Kevin was micromanaging the Russos to make way for Captain Marvel. I totally agree. I really think that Kevin Feige and Disney probably were very involved with this film. And it's really sad to say that, but it really seems that way. Like they really got their fingers in this film to really kind of mess around with what the Rousseau brothers were trying to do and make sure they put in like things to kind of like make up for they wanted to put in those woke moments and stuff. They wanted to really pave the way for the MCU moving forward, and you can kind of really feel that. So I love the Incredible Hulk. Good movie. Totally agree. Hey, Cass, welcome to the stream. I hope work is going good for you. I hope Rousseau possibly released their original cut a few years down the line after this wave passes by. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. I don't think that'll ever happen. I really don't. But yeah, that would be cool. I have 3 parody accounts now. Yay! Thanks for being here, by the way, Caitlin. Actually, let me make you a mod there. There we go. Okay. We should get a Rocket and Thor movie. Yeah, I really am. I'm super interested to hear what they announce for the MCU moving forward after Far From Home. Um, if Thor is in the next Guardians movie, that would be more excited for it for sure. But you know, Thor can't continue to be this whiny fat Thor. No, no, I will not be happy if they continue to do that at all. So yeah, they really need to they better not mess with Thor that way. Like it's fine. It's fine if he was that way in this movie in Endgame, but if he continues to just be that way moving forward, nope. I will not be a fan of that at all. So yeah. I wish the MCU would acknowledge the TV shows more. Imagine the Defenders in the final battle. Imagine Quake fighting Thanos. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, but that would just add a lot more complexity to the film, I think, than what they really had time for. So yeah. And they actually did have they had Jarvis from the Agent Carter TV show in this movie, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really nice little Easter egg in there. So the Rousseau cut would probably be the MCU's answer to the BVS Snyder cut. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Probably. I'm a DCEU guy, but I'm going to check out these MCU movies. Wait, Brandon, are you saying you've never seen the MCU movies? That's kind of what it sounds like when what you said right there, and I was just, wow, I would be baffled if that was the case. I don't know how you have made it so long without seeing the MCU movies, but that'd be crazy. Dang, there is now a parody account higher than me. LOL, it's fine. Um, proper Josiah, you need to get a an avatar for your account. You can't just have an avatar less account. That's just not cool, man. I really hope somehow they bring Black Widow, whether it is in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or Loki going around causing a ruckus. I really think that was the end of Black Widow. I really think she's gone. She's dead. She's not coming back into the MCU. We're going to get a prequel for Black Widow, and I don't know what they're going to be doing with that. But as far as Black Widow moving forward, she's unfortunately she's done. It's really sad. That actually hit me a lot more the second time watching Endgame. The first time around, it didn't really hit me. I was like, no. There's no way they're gonna kill off Black Widow. There's no way they're gonna keep her dead. But she's dead, and it really hit me a lot harder the second time watching the movie. Captain Marvel was the one that needed to die, not Black Widow. Totally agree. Because no one cares about Captain Marvel. Like when Captain Marvel showed up at the beginning of the movie, there was like one girl that cheered in the theater, and it was kind of funny. It was just like, ah, and that was it. And then like when Captain Marvel shows up at the end, where she just like flies through Thanos' ship, no one cheered. She like flew through his ship and stuff, and up until that point, you could just feel the tension in the theater. People were freaking out. People were like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" And then Captain Marvel flew through the ship, and then you could just feel the entire tension in the theater just drop. I heard something really interesting that someone said on Twitter. Captain Marvel showing up in Avengers Endgame was kind of like when the phone rings during sex. And I just thought that was like a perfect analogy. It was incredible. I laughed so hard when I saw that. Let's see. My favorite scenes in the film were Cap wielding Thor's hammer, the Avengers assemble line, and just when everyone came through the portals. I totally agree with all those. The reverse Alex. Those were all amazing moments in the movie. Another moment I really liked was Pepper Potts and Tony Stark fighting side by side. I really liked Black Panther running with the gauntlet. I thought that was awesome. So there was a lot of really, really amazing moments in the end of the movie there. But Captain America using Mjolnir was the greatest thing I've ever seen in this entire series. I freaked out at that part. My entire theater just went nuts at that part, and it was so amazing being a part of that moment. It was just so awesome. It was so awesome. Let's see. I don't think Black Widow needs to come back. Her arc is complete. She got the red out of her ledger. Totally agree with that, DJ. I think where they ended with her was fantastic. I just hope that they don't screw up her prequel movie. Like they can't screw that up, you know. Come on, it was Black Widow. Avengers: The Wrath of Captain Marvel. She's so strong. She should have just died in the beginning. Yeah. I mean, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. She's the face of the MCU moving forward. Yay! So yeah, unfortunately Captain Marvel is not going anywhere, which is sad. Also, the Captain Marvel. Let's see here. Also, the Captain Marvel fight because Thanos punched her with the Power Stone. I thought yes when he punched her. I love that part. I'm glad that Captain Marvel wasn't the one that defeated Thanos. At first, I thought she was going to be. I was like, no, don't do this, please. And then he grabbed the stone and punched her. It was just fantastic. It was so awesome. What were the Vegas odds on Endgame being made worse by Thor's presence in the movie more than Captain Marvel's presence? You sparingly didn't destroy the movie like expected. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't know. I don't think I don't think Fat Thor necessarily made the movie worse. I just didn't like what they did with his character. Like he was still awesome at the end. Like he using his lightning, his eyes were glowing blue. He was using Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. I thought that was awesome. But for his character, why did they have to keep him fat? Why did they have to keep him kind of like fat and whiny at the end and stuff? Why? Although I did love the scene, the final scene with him and Peter Quill. That was amazing. That was an amazing scene. I love that part. The moment they mentioned the quantum realm has time vortexes in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought, is that how they fix everything? I was right. Yep, I think that's kind of what everyone kind of was expecting. When Kevin Feige said they would make a Captain Marvel movie before a Black Widow movie because Captain Marvel would be more interesting, it was then that I started to have a bad taste in my mouth. I wished my instinct was wrong. I totally agree. Um, yeah, yeah. Black Widow deserved a movie way before Captain Marvel ever did. It's really stupid that we never got Black Widow movie and then suddenly we're getting a Captain Marvel movie. Like, that's not what we want. We don't care about Captain Marvel. We want Black Widow. Heck, I'd be even fine with like a spin-off movie about Nebula and Gamora. That'd be fantastic. I would love that. But nope. Nope, Captain Marvel gets her movie. It's stupid. So are you guys hyped for the next MCU movie directed by Brie? Oh my gosh. That would just be horrible. That'd be horrible. that I should mention that this is actually a new account. It's me, Alex Slusher. I made a channel specifically for reviews. Oh, well, hello, Alex. Welcome to the stream. I did not recognize that was you, but now I know exactly who you are, so thank you for being here. Where was Gamora at the end? Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, Gamora kicked Gamora kicked Peter Quill in the balls, and then that was pretty much the last time we saw her. And then at the very end, we see Peter Quill is trying to find her on his little computer thing. So she just kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened to her. It was weird. Do you think it'll pass Avatar? I'm hesitant with all the competition coming. PS new Aladdin TV spots have me sold. Interesting. I haven't seen the new TV spots for Aladdin, but everything I've seen for the movie so far has not really made me that excited for the movie. But I don't think it's going to be Avatar. I really don't. It's going to be the second highest movie of all time, hands down. But I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be Avatar. I really don't. I think it'll do maybe like 2.4. I think it'll do between 2.4 and 2.6 is what I think. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be Avatar. I really don't. Avatar is just on a whole other level with that movie, with that box office. Thank you for smashing the like button, everyone. I really appreciate it. You think? I mean, I'd be happy if it'd be Avatar for sure. I would totally be happy with that. I don't think it's going to though. I really don't. But again, I'm not really a professional when it comes to these box office numbers. That'd be a better question for probably like Odin or something. Let's see. How much did Avatar make? I think it made like what 2.7 something. Yeah, 2.7 is what Avatar made. I really don't think it's going to beat that. Like I said, I think it'll do it between probably like 2.4 and 2.6 is what I'm thinking for Endgame. Fat Thor was a bigger disappointment to me than what they did to Luke Skywalker, The Last Jedi. Okay, maybe not worse. Both were just so disappointing. He's a god. How can he even get fat? Yeah, like I was fine with it at the beginning of the film because I understood what they were doing there. Like he was just filled with guilt for failing and defeating Thanos. Thanos wiped out half the universe. All of that was on Thor's shoulders. So I get what they were doing with him in the beginning of the film. But the fact that he just continued to be Fat Thor throughout the entire movie was really annoying. It was annoying to me. It really was. Yeah, Adam Warlock could have easily had been kind of a replacement for Captain Marvel, but at the same time, I don't know if I really want Adam Warlock either because like we don't have I don't want all these new characters to be coming in that we don't have any attachment to or emotional attachment to. I wanted this film to be about the characters that we've had up until this point. And they should have kept Captain Marvel at even more of a minimum than what they did, I think. I mean, Black Panther had a really cool part of this movie. And I thought that his part was really great. And he hasn't been around for a very long time. Well, he's been kind of around for like 3 years now if you count Civil War. But yeah, like Captain Marvel just should not have had as much screen time as she did. They could have easily had cut out her screen time and given more time for like a Hulk versus Thanos fight or something. Um, let's see. Yeah, but somebody else. Let's see. What was I gonna say? Somebody else made a really good point too. That instead of having Captain Marvel at the beginning of the movie saving Iron Man, pretty much they totally should have had Tony Stark trying to find a way to get himself out of that pickle, because that's like what Tony Stark does. Tony Stark is someone who solves problems and gets himself out of them. So they should not have. They did not even need Captain Marvel in the beginning of this movie at all. Like they totally should have made that opening sequence about Tony Stark figuring out how to get him and Nebula home. Like they totally should have, and they did not need Captain Marvel in the beginning of the movie. Um. Besides that, I think the other thing that they should have done that would have been really cool is they should have had when Scarlet Witch was fighting Thanos. They should have had when he says something like "I don't even know who you are" or something like that, and she says "You will," and then she fights him. What they should have done is they should have had when she says "You will," they should have had her like fill his mind with the memories of what happened in Infinity War, so that he can know who all the characters were, and he could feel that personal connection that he had from Infinity War with them, and he could have seen like how he had succeeded in the snap and stuff, and then she should have fought him. That way, he had like that connection with all the different characters. The fact that he didn't have that connection with the characters at the end of the movie was kind of weird. And I didn't even really think about that much until Jeremy brought it up. But I think they could have easily had done that, and that would have worked really well. Yeah, I guess he did kind of know that through Nebula's memories in a way, but it still wasn't really like him feeling or experiencing what he did, you know. So I think they could have just done that a little bit better with Scarlet Witch, but I don't know. But yeah, I get that like he kind of saw all of that through Nebula's memories. Let's see. He had to fight New Master 69. That must have taken a heavy toll on Thor. Seeing Thor and oh, what's his name? Korg playing Fortnite was just hilarious to me. I laughed really hard at that. It must have been one awkward conversation between Cap and Peggy at the end. I'm from the future. Did the super soldier serum make you high? Oh man. I'm a big fan of the Agent Carter TV show. I'm really sad that we never had a third season for that either to close that out. Let's see. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about here? The other thing that I kind of want to touch on was this whole thing with like this. There's a dude or something that got beaten up for spoiling Avengers Endgame. Let me see if I can find it here. Wait, I just saw that there was a news thing where Keanu Reeves might possibly be in Hobbs and Shaw. If that actually happens, I would lose my mind. That'd be amazing. Let's see. Where is this? Where is this story? Okay, there we go. Oh man. Yeah, I did not like Brie Larson or Captain Marvel's new hairstyle either. I thought that was kind of weird. Let's see here. Let me screen share this with you guys. Well, basically, there was a man who was reportedly beaten up outside of a movie theater for revealing spoilers for Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is, of course, the recently released Marvel movie, which shows the Avengers, yada yada yada. According to Asia One, a man was attacked outside of a theater in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong, after revealing spoilers to Avengers Endgame. The incident is said to have taken place at the entrance of the theater, where the man loudly revealed the spoilers to people who were walking to the theater. There is some speculation as to whether this actually happened or not, but there's a photo of the man receiving first aid, and others who were at the event claim to have heard someone revealing spoilers. Um, and this has kind of become a debate among people, like on Twitter and stuff. Like a lot of people were like, "Well, this is like the end of an 11-year journey. He deserved to get beaten up for spoiling the movie." And I don't know. Like I'm not saying that the man didn't have it coming to him for spoiling Avengers Endgame, but at the same time, I don't really, I'm not really on the side of it was that they should have beaten him up or anything. You know, sure, that was a really just a horrible thing for him to do, spoiling the movie, and he suffered the consequences for that, and he should have thought things through before doing that. That was really stupid on his part. But at the same time, I don't necessarily condone the idea of beating someone up over that. I just don't really think that was necessarily a right move to do either. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about that. But like, come on, I'm just not. I am not really a fan of any sort of physical violence like that, unless you're defending your family or defending or protecting someone or self-defense, something like that. I totally get it in that kind of scenario. But just beating the crap out of somebody because they spoiled a movie is, I don't know. And I am a huge fan of Avengers Endgame. If someone spoiled this movie for me, I would have been absolutely pissed beyond belief. But I still would not beating someone up over it. I don't know. Let's see. Play with matches and you get fire. It's true. It's true. I'm the one who kicked his ass. He wait. He was seeing green all night. That's funny. That's funny. I mean, poor guy, but don't do that. Yeah, totally agree. A verbal scolding at most is how it should have happened, but to actually beat someone up for spoiling Endgame is just wrong. I totally agree. He shouldn't have done that, but no violence. I mean, come on. Yeah, come on. I just think that, and I've seen people kind of from our community who are like, oh, they were totally right for beating him up and stuff. Like, come on, we got to be better than that. Like that is something that like the crazy SJW type of people would do, is resort to violence, and they do a lot actually. I mean, you can see videos all the time of people from SJW type of crowds, from the far left type of crowds, just beating people up, using physical harm towards people. And I just think that we got to be better than that, you know? Um, Not saying it's right, but that's his fault. The world isn't right. Don't put yourself in harm's way. And I totally agree with that as well. Like he totally did something completely stupid, and he suffered the consequences for that. If you're being a douchebag and someone beats you up, then don't be a douchebag. Yeah. Oh man. He was probably looking for a fight, else you won't do that. Yeah, he might have been. If that's the case, then he really lost that one. Yeah, basically what he's doing was just he was just spoiling Avengers Endgame for people. So TK, thank you for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Loved the Steve Rogers send off with Sam Wilson and the Shield. There were many weak parts in the movie, but that scene broke me down. Yeah, honestly, I was totally fine with him giving the shield to Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson's been kind of around with Cap for a while, ever since Winter Soldier. So that was like back in what, like 2013, 2014, 13, I believe. So yeah, he's been around for a while. He's been around for like 6 years now. And Sam Wilson, I think emotionally, I could see why Steve Rogers might have given the shield to Bucky over Sam, but I think he was just thinking like Sam was probably the better fit to be the next Captain America. So I totally get that as well. So I was totally fine with the fact that Sam Wilson has the shield now, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Sam Wilson and Bucky TV series, the Winter Soldier or Falcon TV series. That'll be interesting. Um, the only thing, yeah, and the only thing is like Sam isn't a super soldier, so like, how is he going to use the shield? How is he going to be as capable of using the shield as Captain America was? That's the only question I have. You know. Um. Yep. Avengers Endgame was at like 1.2 billion the last time I checked, and that was like this morning. So this movie is insane, guys. This movie is $1 billion movie in the opening weekend. That's just beyond insane. What did I'm curious what Avatar made in its opening weekend. Let me see here. Okay. Wow. Well, what did let's see here. Let's see. Okay, let's look up what are the numbers for Avengers Endgame? Avengers Endgame. Okay. Opening weekend 350 million domestic. 350 million domestic. Avatar Avatar opening weekend made 77 million. So that's a huge difference. That is a huge difference. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what this movie does. If it beats Avatar, I will be blown away. I will be blown away by that. Thank you for that super chat once again, TK. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you. So thank you for that. Um, you believe a little under what? Is what true? I don't know what you're talking about, Edward Teach. So you're gonna have to clarify that. Bucky is as old as Cap. Maybe Cap felt Bucky deserved to rest the same at this or arrest the same he felt he himself did too. Yeah, I think he might have also had that in mind. Like maybe Bucky's just been through a lot of crap, and he just didn't need more of that pressure on him, of being the Winter Soldier. So I kind of get it from that perspective as well. Um, by the time this weekend is over, Endgame will make probably half the gross of Avatar. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, it's just destroying it right now. So I can totally see that. I can totally see that. Let's see here. Endgame was a much better movie than Avatar. Yeah, I agree. But box office numbers doesn't necessarily mean anything when it comes to what movie's better. I mean, the Transformers movies have all been very successful in the box office, and those movies are not very good. So, and then you have movies like Blade Runner 2049, which did not do well at all in the box office. So yeah, box office numbers don't necessarily make a movie good or bad. Um, how did Avatar get to 2.7 billion anyway? Well, that is a really good question. Basically, what happened was the they kept on like re-releasing Avatar, and they kept on like re-releasing it in like IMAX, 3D, all these different things. So the theatrical run for Avatar was like really drawn out, and it was like put in all these different types of formats and stuff. And so I think that is what really helped drive it to such a high box office. Yeah, I still have my doubts that it's going to be Avatar. I really don't think it's going to, but yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, Avengers Endgame has already passed over 1 billion. Right now, I'm looking at it. Here, I'll show you guys. I will show you guys so you guys can see firsthand. Okay, so let's see. Worldwide, it's already made 1.2 billion dollars. So yeah, that was the last time. I don't know what the last time it was updated at, but that was from like this morning. So it's probably even higher at this point. So that's pretty insane. Pretty insane. $1.2 billion. Pretty crazy. So yeah. Let's see. I hated Avatar because it ripped off my favorite Kevin Costner films, plot Dances with Wolves. Dances with Wolves is a really good movie. I like that movie a lot. And yeah, Avatar, yeah, I mean, I actually kind of enjoyed Avatar for the most part. I really enjoyed some of the things they did with that movie, but overall, it wasn't really like an amazing movie or anything. Yeah, but Captain Marvel did not make it a billion in the opening weekend. So yeah, that's also something else too. The problem with the Transformers movies were that they were too campy. Yeah, and guys, I'm actually going to be watching Bumblebee today for the first time, so I'm really excited about that. Um, I've never seen Bumblebee before, so I'm really interested to see what this movie's about. I hear it's really good, and I'm super excited to watch it. So yeah, I'll definitely probably talk about that tomorrow a little bit for the Game of Thrones stream. So yeah. Isn't the accomplishment of Endgame so far better than Avatar in general? I mean, when Avatar came out, it was new age CGI and different. People saw it for that, not for dedication alone. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I totally agree. I'm not saying Avatar is a great movie, guys. I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm just looking at the numbers. Okay, I'm just looking at the numbers that have been out for the movies. So I remember when my mom took me to see Avatar in theaters back in the day. I sadly spilled my popcorn all over the flood that day before the over the floor that day before the film even started. Oof. Well, that's rough. I'm not a fan of popcorn, so I can't really feel for you. But yeah, but yeah, that I can see why that'd be sad. Let's see. And the weekend is over yet. Good point. It's gonna just keep on going up for sure. Bumblebee was decent, interesting. I'm excited to see it. I don't know. I'm actually really excited to watch with my daughter too. So she's excited to see it. Bumblebee was awesome, better than the other live action films. Though the 1986 animated film was the best Transformers movie. Interesting. I haven't seen that one. Um, yeah, no, I lost it when they had Drunk Merlin in last night or whatever one that was. The oh, what was it? I don't remember the name of it. Transformers. Yeah, last night. Drunk Merlin was probably the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen. So yeah. Um, do the do the red letter media treatment for Transformers movies, all of them pace perfectly side by side, all the same movie with a slightly different cast and script, but all times the same. Yeah, they're not great movies. I did not drink any water during Endgame. I was not going to miss a second of it. Yeah, I drank a icy, but that was it. And that's totally fine, Cass. I know you got to work, so don't worry about that. Um, hard for me to get excited for anything Transformers. Never watched the cartoons and can get excited for Bumblebee. Um, let's see. Hard for me to get excited for anything Transformers. Never watched the cartoons and can get excited for Bumblebee. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Bumblebee, yeah, definitely check it out because I hear it's actually a really good kind of soft reboot for the series. Never seen The Last Night. Don't want to see The Last Night. I saw Age of Extinction, and that was the last straw. Yeah, The Last Night. And I didn't even finish that movie. I watched like maybe half of it, and I was just like, "Wow, this is just garbage." Captain Marvel, I'm going to kill you. Thanos, oh hey, Power Stone punches Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, oh, I'm such an unlikable character. Gaga. Yeah, but then she what was it like? Somebody said something like she looked like she had just lost an election or something at the end of the movie, where she's like standing on the stairs and stuff. Oh, that was funny. Also, did you guys notice that what's his name? The kid from Iron Man 3 was at the end of Avengers Endgame? I haven't seen Iron Man 3 in a really long time, so I don't remember the kid's name. Let me see here. Um Oh, what's his name here? Where are you? Harley, right? Ty Simpkins. Yeah. Yep. So this kid was at the end of Avengers Endgame. He was there at Iron Man's or Tony Stark's funeral, which I thought was really cool. I wonder if they're kind of using that as kind of like a nod towards him possibly being Iron Man in the future. And I know that is something that they were talking about back in during Iron Man 3 and stuff. They were like, this kid could possibly end up being the next Iron Man. So so yeah, I thought that was cool that they had him at the end of the movie. Bumblebee has a decent plot that's easy to follow and makes sense unlike some of previous movies. That's good to hear. I'm excited to see it. Ever play Game of Thrones, Grand Theft Auto? I prefer San Andreas the most. By the way, thank you for that super chat, Mega Jetty. I really appreciate that. Ever play Grand Theft Auto? I've played a little bit of it. I've played the Grand Theft Auto 5, the online one or whatever. And I didn't really get into it that much. It's just not really my type of game. I don't know. But I also didn't play the storyline for that. I just did like the online stuff, and I just cannot get into the online part of Grand Theft Auto. But maybe if I played the story, maybe I'd like it more. But yeah, thank you for that, Mega Jetty. I appreciate it. My favorite video game of all time is God of War. I love that game so much. And you know, I would I really want to play through that game again. I really do. That game's just incredible and it's perfect for me. I love that game so much. And it even beat out The Last of Us because The Last of Us was my favorite game for a while. Ever since I played that when that came out in like 2013 or something like that. And God of War came out and it just blew me out of the water. I was like, this game is just fantastic. Yep. Let's see here. Yeah, Harley was at the end, which was really cool. I thought that was a nice nod. Howard the Duck was in Endgame. Was he really? I didn't notice if he was. Did they have like an Easter egg for that or something? That kid was probably still talking to Tony until his death. He might have had some upgrades over the years, and maybe Tony helped him in school. Just me speculating. Yeah, I totally think that that's definitely a possibility, Talia. So it's cool that they kept him kind of in the series still. So that I wonder if they're kind of showing that there might be more of a future for Harley. So that'll be cool. I really liked his relationship with Tony in Iron Man 3. I thought it was really good. I saw Endgame today, and I still Game of Thrones Battle of Winterfell to go. It's a good day. Yep, Battle of Winterfell is tonight, and I can't wait to see it. I am, oh man, it's gonna be an insane episode, guys. It's gonna be really insane. Red Dead Redemption 2 is my all-time favorite. That's awesome. I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't finished the story yet, but man, that's a really, really amazing game. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm slowly working on it right now whenever I have some time. So I'm bummed out. Was hoping they would reboot Blade, but with the all new, all different MCU from now on, I doubt they will ever reboot Blade. They might. I mean, he's a black guy, and that's what they want. They want to have more diversity, more identity politics and stuff. So they might reboot Blade. He actually has a pretty big chance, I would say, at being rebooted. Howard the Duck is actually the first MCU movie was made by Disney. Yep. Yes, it was. Yeah, I never saw Howard the Duck in Endgame. Where did he appear? Must have missed it. I'm assuming he appeared in the final battle. Yeah, I did. I don't remember seeing. It was a blink, and you'll miss it. When Wasp first appears, he is on the right of the screen. Really, man, I'm gonna have to check that out now. I'm probably gonna be seeing it again. I'm probably gonna be seeing Endgame again Tuesday, so I'm definitely gonna be checking that out because yeah, because wow, loved it. Hey Jagan, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here, my friend. I prefer a classic God of War. New one is too tamed. It's too tamed? What do you mean by too tamed? Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Mega Jetty. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, my friend. So thank you so much. It was too tamed, huh? I don't know. I loved it. I thought there's a lot of really awesome things that they did with like some of the finishes, especially the finishes on the Valkyries were incredible. They were so good. I love the way that he took out like the trolls and stuff. Those were really awesome as well. If you're talking about like the as far as the violence goes, I mean, yeah, it probably wasn't quite on the level of God of War, the other God of War games, but I didn't think it was like necessarily tame either. So, um, let's see. How do you feel about how the Rousseaus treated Peter Quill? They turned him into a bumbling idiot. Feels like they must emasculate all white males to please the SJWs. Yep, that's totally what it felt like. I mean, they pretty much used and I noticed this a lot more in the second viewing, but they pretty much anytime that the white males were on the screen during the final fight and stuff, like there was like the part where Hawkeye had the gauntlet and then Nebula stopped him and she had like the gun pointing at him and he's on the ground and stuff, and then the other Nebula and Gamora showed up and then they kind of had a standoff, the three of them. When they started to have their standoff, Hawkeye just like went and hid in a corner. It was like cowering and stuff behind a rock or something. It's like, what are you doing, Hawkeye? What this is not Hawkeye. What are you doing? And then Peter Parker, you know, he had the gauntlet and he was trying to get the gauntlet there, and then he was like laying on the ground holding the gauntlet like it was a teddy bear or something when Captain Marvel walked up and stuff, and it's just like, what? Come on. And then, you know, Peter Quill got kicked in the balls by Gamora, and Thor was like a whiny person who's like wearing knit sweaters and stuff at the end of the movie. It's just like, what? Come on, guys, really? This isn't the way that they totally are just taking our heroes that we've loved so much and are just like totally just emasculating them just simply to elevate women, female characters. Like, why can't they both be awesome? Why do you have to tear down the man in order to elevate the woman? Why can't they just both be awesome? Why? I'm baffled. I'm baffled by that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If Disney does Blade would be female. Would not surprise me, to be completely honest. Yeah, I missed this because the attendants told us, oh, there was no post credits, and so ushered everyone to leave before they finished running. But there's an audio cue at the very end of the credits. Yeah, there is, and it sounds like the sound of like Iron Man making his armor from the very first Iron Man movie in the cave and stuff, like making his very first Iron Man armor with the hammer and stuff. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. I think that was just kind of like one final nod to the very, very beginning of this whole series and where it all started. So I think that's why they did that.
Boo.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, it's Gary.
Hey, what's up, man?
You kind of scared me for a second there.
That was the whole point.
Oh, glad to have you here, man.
Hey, no problem. I don't know if you got my message. I said I could come on in for a bit. I'm in the middle of recording a Captain Marvel video. Big surprise. Okay. But yeah. Dude, I heard what you were talking about a little bit, and I had to repay the favor. You joined me on Friday night, and I really appreciated having you there. Yeah. We gotta help you to get to 5,000 subscribers.
I know. Yep. I'm almost there. I have like 1,500 to go or something like that.
Yeah, so. You'll do it. You'll do it quick.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So how are you doing today? Are you doing good?
I am doing fabulous. It's actually been a great week for entertainment. The Suck Fest that was Star Trek Discovery ended a week ago, and since then it's been great. The Orville finale was awesome. Cobra Kai is brilliant. Avengers Endgame, I mostly enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really, really good.
Yep.
But as I heard you pointing that stuff at, the more stuff I hear getting pointed out with like Lebowski, Thor, and I'm glad you brought up Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man outside of Civil War has just bugged the hell out of me. Now, quick reference here. Spider-Man has been my favorite character since I was a wee little lad. I own a complete run almost of Amazing Spider-Man up till 600. So I have Amazing Fantasy all the way up. I had a Spider-Man museum in San Francisco for a while of my Spider-Man collectibles. I am a Spider-Man fan, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man since Civil War is not Spider-Man. It's Spider-Boy. It's Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, the fetal position, like you just said, that was brilliant. Holding the gauntlet like a teddy bear and then just being scared when Captain Marvel shows up. He's always crying, and I'm like, why are you always crying? Now at the end of Endgame, that was appropriate. That was good. I had no problem with that. But he's got in Homecoming, he's crying. In Infinity War, he's crying. Peter Parker is one of the bravest heroes in Marvel Comics, period.
Yeah.
Now, he's cried before when like Gwen Stacy dies or when Aunt May almost dies, but most of the time he's walked towards his imminent death, bravely every time. That's why we love him. He's this Peter Parker always needing a mentor. That's the biggest problem is if you've read Spider-Man for years and years, he prior to 2000, the mid 2000s, he was never in a team. He would never join the Avengers. He came close to, he was in the Fantastic Four. And of course, early on, they didn't pay. So he left, he's not a team player. He's got his own thing going on. He's paying rent. He's got too much going on to join a team. He's always been on his own, a very independent, strong character that they just, this is what I worry about with the MCU. I don't know. That's just my rant. Sorry.
Yeah, I totally agree. Don't you kind of feel like that they really try to emasculate all the white males in this movie?
Yeah. They really went out of their way. And, I didn't even think about it until Odin brought it up about Hulk. Because there's so much going on. You don't think about that. Hulk doesn't get that resolution with kicking Thanos's ass, or at least getting in a major, just a one-on-one fight with him for a little bit. Not that I remember seeing. And the whole point of Infinity War was Banner more emasculating. Banner was having performance issues with Hulk, and now he's a peacenik. He's I don't like violence, and it was a good gag and everything, but I was fully expecting him to like go toe to toe with Thanos for like like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Something. Yeah. I didn't really have a problem with like Fat Thor and Soy Hulk or whatever for like the first bit in the movie, because that was after the snap and stuff, and I kind of understood them being that way after all that, but to just have them carry through the entire movie that way was just a terrible decision. So I don't understand how you can not put in a rematch between Hulk and Thanos. Like that's like the most, I feel like that was like the one thing like literally everyone wanted for this movie. So
yeah, we wanted, superhero battle action. That's what we were all waiting for. Okay. Everybody was waiting for that moment. And, for the most part, the melee, delivered. It was really good. There's a couple obvious moments that we've talked to ad infinitum. But other than that, it was pretty damn good. And the Russos were not going to satisfy everybody. And this is nerd culture. This is what we're like. We're going to pick this stuff apart. And, people have gotten on me for being too picky, and I liked it. But that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, let's see. Have you watched it again since you watched it twice so far? Have you seen it a third time or just?
No, I'm going to see it a third time probably later this week.
Okay. Interesting.
Just, in a nice, hopefully empty theater, like during the week, so I can like fully take it in. But yeah, I saw it twice in one day, and I think I got a lot out of it. I don't think I missed much. And I guess they did the best they could. There were so many expectations on this film. There's really no way they could have delivered. But the thing that's going to be the biggest question from here on going is the 5-year time jump, because that's half the planet was gone for 5 years. And Andre brought this up on Midnight's Edge yesterday. Like that means that half the planet had relationships that they have moved on. you know, and this is going to wreck the world. It would wreck the planet. So if it's something that they just do the 5-year jump and they don't mention it again, so the only reason for it was so Tony could keep his daughter.
Right. Yeah.
But she would have been kept anyway in the rules that they set up, because if they're not erasing anything, so Nebula didn't go away when she killed herself. So with that logic, Tony's daughter would have stayed. Everything would have just doubled up.
True.
So
yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it even makes me wonder, like, are they going to be addressing that in Far From Home at all when they get around to that film coming out, or is that just, or are they just going to kind of gloss over it? That'll be interesting to see when that film comes out, how they handle that. So,
yeah, Kevin Feige's calling it the end of this phase 3. So they might, you know, we'll see. And boy, that's a genius way to get people to see the movie and for it to not feel anticlimactic or anything.
Exactly. So hopefully we do get some more of the fallout of all of that in Far From Home. So hopefully. Let's see here. We have a $2 super chat from Mega Jetty. Classic had more and sex appeal, not trying to be Last of Us. Okay, you're still talking about God of War. Do you play games at all, Gary? Or
God, no, I'm terrible.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. And then a $2 super chat from Kermit the Log. End sound is Colossus jerking it. Oh my gosh. The end. So people are like talking about like the last sound in Avengers Endgame at the very, very end of the movie after the credits with like the banging sound, clinking of metal on metal and stuff. So Kermit the Log was saying that was Colossus jerking it. So
oh.
Did you notice that what's his name? Harley was at the end of Avengers Endgame as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I actually did catch that. The little kid that was off on his own there. Yeah. I just figured that was the grown-up kid from Iron Man 3. Because they wouldn't I'm totally disappointed they didn't put any like visual signs that the X-Men and Fantastic Four are coming. They could have easily. I mean, without showing an actor or even a logo. They could have so I talked about it in the live stream. They could have found the van, the PIM van, and it could have magically turned on again like it did before. And you get some sign that like a piece of paper or a piece of a costume with like just the number 4. It doesn't even have to be the proper.
Oh, yeah.
And if that flew out of there, people would have gone nuts.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah. That would have been really awesome for sure. So let's see here. Let's see what the chat is saying. Even the students Spider-Man went to school with would have been grown unless they all were dusted. Yeah, that was. I think that was just kind of a major plot hole for the movie. But I don't know. I don't think there's really any other explanation for that. I mean, I don't know if you might be a little bit better to understanding like how all the time stuff works than I am, Gary. I don't know if you watched like any. I don't know if there's any time stuff in like Star Trek or anything like that.
Tons of it.
But yeah, so I don't know. Do you have an explanation for that, or do you think that was just a plot hole there?
It's a plot hole. I mean, Doctor Who is my favorite thing is Doctor Who, and they pull that kind of stuff all the time, but they kind of explain it to where, you know, especially the Steve Rogers thing at the end. Stephen Moffat's Doctor Who did that kind of stuff all the time, where somebody got stuck waiting somewhere for 40 years and people are just jumping time for like 5 seconds. And then all of a sudden the person they were just with is 40 years older.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like they are just going to have all the students that were friends of Peter they got snapped. So they're just going to be with Peter, and maybe there's a special class that they're going to have to restart high school with them. That is a major plot hole. And it would be an awful coincidence if everybody who was in Homecoming got snapped. And it's not a prequel. They've come out and said it's not a prequel. So
yeah,
that's going to be, like I said, that's a tough decision to go ahead unless the whole thing they're building towards is maybe Battle World and Secret Wars and multiverse. And they mentioned a lot
Yeah.
in Endgame, that if you don't put the stones exactly back, it creates a nasty alternate timeline. I think they were letting us know that that's what's going to happen. So, and that's probably how they bring in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and we'll see. And then they'll have to have some kind of big, they'll do Secret Wars and some convergence or something. I'm not really sure. But
yeah. And especially since they kind of introduced like the scroll and stuff and all of that, so I think Secret Wars is definitely a big possibility for where they're going to be moving forward. And honestly, I'm kind of down with the idea of that because I think Secret Wars is a really interesting story. But it just kind of depends on how they obviously handle the MCU moving forward. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I think I kind of mentioned it a little bit on your stream the other night, but at this point, I'm just kind of emotionally detaching myself from the MCU moving forward. Just kind of playing it by ear and seeing what they do with it. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Mark Taylor says, I bought this. I thought the same, and I've been buying comics since before Gary was born. Oh, man. A long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Did you catch the Howard the Duck cameo in the movie?
I did not. I just saw that in the chat. I'm like, man, I guess I got to see it for a third time because where was that?
Orange Hat Review said that it was like right when Wasp shows up in the movie, like you can see him to the right or something. So yeah,
oh, that's cool.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that when I see it again on Tuesday. So let's see here. Will Disney just add She-Hulk to the MCU, or will they insist on a sex change for Professor Hulk?
That's a good question. That's got something to do with my next video plug.
Okay, nice.
I'm half done with it right now. I'm taking a little break.
Yeah, that'll be yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope they bring in She-Hulk because I think She-Hulk's an awesome character, but I just hope that they do it the right way. So
yeah, agreed. I've been wanting I did a podcast like 3 years ago on Nerdrotic that nobody listened to, where me and my co-host were begging to pick She-Hulk over Captain Marvel. It's a much better character, and if you base it on John Byrne's, the modern She-Hulk right now is kind of a travesty. But if they do the more traditional She-Hulk, it would be a lot of fun. A lot, She-Hulk broke the fourth wall long before Deadpool did.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, my wife is a fan of She-Hulk, so she's been wanting a She-Hulk movie for a long time, and I always thought that was really cool. I mean, there's plenty of female characters I've always been rooting to bring into the MCU and stuff. It's just they just bring them into the MCU. Don't make a big deal of it. Don't focus on the identity politics. Just bring them in, and everyone will be cool. I've been noticing that Brie Larson and Kevin Feige have been talking a lot in their interviews recently about normalizing the minorities in these movies and stuff. And they can be normalized right now if you guys would just stop making a big deal out of it.
God, that's the whole thing. It is normal. And Mark, can I address the chat real quick?
Yep.
Mark Taylor says, I have a couple comics from 1958. I'll have to send them to you. You'll appreciate them more than me. Wow. They might be worth money. But if you send them to me, I'll review them. How's that sound? I love the Silver Age stuff. It's the best. But you're absolutely right. Okay, the normalization is happening. It's already pretty normal. As a matter of fact, I'll go out on a limb, a big old limb, and say being gay is pretty normal now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, shocking statement, but it's not the 90s, okay, when this stuff was shocking, when Buffy had two girls kiss, and and North Star has been openly gay since 1992. He is an X-Men. He was intended to be gay from the beginning in 1979, but Jim Shooter, the editor-in-chief of Marvels, would not allow it because because of the Comics Code. The Comics Code would not allow any openly homosexual characters in comic books. If you were going to get the code mattered. The code doesn't matter anymore. And Scott Lobdell, I believe, was the writer for X-Men, is the one who finally had him openly gay, but they had insinuated it for years before that. There was a little scenes here and there, him, swimming with a bunch of guys and like there was a lot of very openly gay scenes. And if you really go back to the 50s, when the comics book code came around, There's a website everybody should go to. I don't know how good it is anymore. It's an ancient website. It's been around since the 90s. It's called superdickery.com.
Okay.
And the tagline is Superman is a dick.
Okay.
And what they did is they go through all the 50s comic books and they show all the Batman and Robin gay innuendo, and all the time Superman is a major asshole to Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. And it was kind of an inside gag between the artists and writers at the time to get around the comics code, and the comics code didn't pick up on any of it. And that's why Batman and Robin, I mean, essentially was a big gay joke for like a decade.
Sure. Yeah.
And they pointed out, it's a really funny site. I haven't been to it in like 5 years, but God, I remember showing it to people in the comic store. We were just cracking up. There's some good stuff in it.
Yeah. So, it's like, Brie Larson keeps on making it sound like she's doing something groundbreaking by being a female superhero in this universe and stuff. And it's like, you're not being anything. You're not special. You're not doing anything new. We had Wonder Woman just a few years ago, and she was incredible. And we have so many great minority characters already in the MCU. And sure, it'd be great I'm totally fine with giving them lead parts in these movies. That's totally fine. But don't make it sound like you're doing anything totally groundbreaking. You're not. Stop acting like you're changing the game and stuff, because these characters have been around for such a long time. If you're just looking at all of the characters that show up at the end of Avengers Endgame, there's a huge variety of different characters. They're not all just white males. You have a freaking tree and a raccoon. You have black people from Wakanda. You have War Machine showing up and stuff, and he's throughout the entire movie. Tons of really awesome female characters. So, it just irritates me how Brie Larson is just so arrogant, and she thinks she's changing the game right now, and she's not.
I mean, and I do not mean to offend, but she is a typical 20-year-old, and you'll know when you're 30 what I'm talking about. But yeah, she comes out and she's like, murder is bad. Did you know that? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start a campaign against murder because killing people is wrong. Wow, really? Thanks, Brie. Didn't know that till Brie Larson told me.
Yeah, amazing, right? She's the gospel. So
she is the gospel of Brie. I think she has pictures of Kevin Feige. The more I think about it, hashtag Brie too. Yeah, I think there's some shenanigans going on with there, some skullduggery.
Yeah. I mean, and I just did a video for Geeks and Gamers just today. It was like called something like Brie Larson Unhinged or something, and she's already, like, after Avengers Endgame is out, she's already in all these different interviews and stuff. She's just going right off the deep end with her identity politics campaign and stuff, and she's just not slowing down on any of that. So yeah.
No, and honestly, it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it would be way over by now. I really did. I thought I'd be just making videos on, man, this movie made all the money. There's no more money left because it made it all. We gotta make new money now. So
yeah, I mean, Brie Larson keeps on opening her mouth and giving us lots of views, so it's great. It's nothing to complain about.
I guess we could constantly point out that this movie that's making more than the GDP of some countries could feed some countries, like entire countries.
Right.
Let's give the mouse more money.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. The I was surprised that it made $1.2 billion already. I was like, wow, that's impressive. That's really impressive.
Every time I see something like that, I'm like, that's not going to get beat. I said that about when I saw Avatar. As much as I didn't like the movie, I'm like, there's no way people are like this will never get beat. And then this happened. So I mean, I'm not going to say that anymore. You live long enough, and something will come out of the woodwork and be a massive hit.
Sure. Do you think this movie is going to be Avatar's box office?
Wow, initially I didn't, but 1.2 billion in the first weekend. I think it could. Yeah.
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 There's definitely a possibility. There really is. Let's see. Mega Jetty, thank you for that $2 super chat. I prefer Golden Age DC. Superman wasn't a god. You can probably talk more about that, Gary, because I'm not familiar with that. So
Golden Age Superman fought like bad landlords and gangsters, and he was really strong, and he didn't fly, he jumped. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that came later.
That's really interesting.
Huh. It's really good. Actually, you got to be kind of really in the comics, but there's a couple of omnibuses out there if you can still get them. The Golden Age Superman omnibus, they're beautiful. They're so good.
Cool. This is kind of just not really related to this, but there's a new series that's going to be coming to Amazon Prime sometime this year, I think, called The Boys, and it's about like a team of superheroes.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen stuff about that?
Let me tell you a little story about The Boys.
Okay.
I'm actually drawn into that comic book.
Really?
Yeah, a friend of mine is the co-creator of it. Derek Robertson is the co-creator. He's done Transmetropolitan, and he's worked on Wolverine. He's been a comic artist for like 3 decades. Really good dude. He's one of my best buds, and he lives up here in the Bay Area, and he's like come to my store a million times. So I'm in issue 23. But yeah, so it's very nihilistic. It's funny though, but it's like the darkest of dark comedies, and it's very anti-superhero.
Okay.
And it's basically, in this world, the superheroes are celebrities, and they're out of control celebrities. So imagine your most coked up Robert Downey Jr. with actual superpowers. That's kind of what this world is. Okay. And there's a group of people called the Boys, and they're not all boys. Who are banded together because they have gotten they kind of keep them in check. They're supposed to keep them in check, and they also basically some of them want to kill them because they've all been victimized by them in some way. Collateral damage. I don't want to ruin it for you, but one of the characters, it's a horrifically gory scene. One of the characters is with his girlfriend on a date, and they're all dancing in the park. They're all of a sudden he's sitting there, and all he's got is her arms in his hands.
Oh no.
Because some superhero threw a bad guy, and that stuff like that. So be ready for it. It is a hard R, folks, but it's a brilliant comic series if you're into really dark humor. So it's Garth Ennis wrote Preacher. Garth Ennis wrote Welcome Back Frank, some of the best Punisher stuff. He's a brilliant writer. And the art is like, ooh, so good. Derek is so good. But yeah. Cool. So if you want to join me, I'm going to be covering it on the channel. If you want to join me on the recaps, man, jump on in.
Definitely. So are you pretty excited for the series then?
I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and God, I know I've like I said, I've been friends with Derek, so I've seen his roller coaster ride and what creators go through with rights issues and Hollywood. So yeah, he got this thing optioned like a decade ago, and it was supposed to be a movie 2 or 3 times. It got as close to almost getting greenlit, then it got shut down. And so I saw him just get heartbroken 3 times, completely heartbroken. And now he's finally getting his big, deservedly so, by the way, his big payday. And, like I said, he's a really good guy. He's got 2 kids, he's got a family that he has to support. And finally, it came through for him. And he's an executive producer on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. So, I mean, the trailers for it really made me very interested in the story and stuff. And from what it looks like it's not going to be infected with SJW nonsense. So let's hope that that's the case.
No, it's going to be pretty un-PC. And Carl Urban as the Butcher is some of the best casting. Carl Urban in anything. I mean, come on, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he's great.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm super excited for that series. I believe that comes out July 26th, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, very excited for that.
Right after Comic-Con ends. So.
Nice. Let's see. Abanas is in the chat, and he says, "Sending love to you, Josiah. Thank you for your words of prayers for me. Appreciate it all. No problem, Abanas, and I'm glad you are feeling better. And that was kind of a scary situation, so I'm glad that you're doing better now. So thank you for letting me know about that. Thank you for sticking around, Mega Jetty. I hope you have a great rest of your day." Can I say? Oh no, Kaylin wants me to say jalapeno. Jalapeno. I'm not going to say it my way anymore because you guys keep on making fun of me for it. So
well, how are you saying it? Jalapeno?
See, the way, okay, we say things a little bit weird sometimes in Michigan. I'm just going to let you know that right now. But the way that I say jalapeno usually is jalapeno. And they like to make fun of me for that. So,
well, you're almost Canadian up there, so that's forgivable.
Jalapeno, eh?
Jalapeno, eh? Sorry.
Sorry. So another thing I wanted to talk with you about the Game of Thrones Battle of Winterfell tonight.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh man. So
I've been critical, of season 7 and although I think this season has been better, it's been an improvement.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. I can't wait. And they're going to base it on the Two Towers. So that's they're paying homage to it, and which is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, gun to my head, it's the Two Towers, just because, Gandalf's return and that 40-minute battle and just everything being brilliant and awesome and epic. So I can't wait. How about you?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think the Battle of Helm's Deep is one of the best battles of all time on screen. And even like from episode 2, it kind of like there were some interesting nods to like them from Helm's Deep getting ready for the battle and stuff. And you could just feel that tension. It was a very similar type of tension to Helm's Deep. And it was like, wow, this is really cool. So I'm glad they kind of gave nods to that. That's pretty neat. I don't know what's going to happen with this battle. I don't know what to expect, but it's going to be insane. I don't know. Do you have any predictions of who you think is going to be biting the dust in this episode? Or
yes, I think the only people left standing. It'd be better to just say the only people left standing are going to be Arya, Jon Snow, Daenerys. I think Davos is just a survivor. Tyrion. I think Sansa's gonna die. Because what else? You got to think about characters, like what else they're gonna do. I think Missandei is gonna die, but Grey Worm is gonna survive because they kiss, so therefore, they're done. Gendry, which he rode all that time to die at Winterfell, damn it. And he rode for 3-4 years, and then he ran back to the wall. I mean, he's just he's the athlete of he's the triathlete of Westeros. Gendry. Varys is gonna die, and it's so sad that they never that a great character like that, they just didn't know what to do with anymore. And he just ended up giving Tyrion advice, and it's can I real quick talk about the biggest mistake they made in the show was going away from Littlefinger and Varys. They had one of the best scenes when Littlefinger talks, the chaos is a ladder scene that just such a good scene. I always see that scene as that is God talking to the devil, and that is Lucifer and God, and Varys is God. Yes, God is a eunuch, and Lucifer is Peter Baelish, and up until that time, those two were the architects of everything going on, and of all the all the moves, all the pieces were pretty much getting pushed by Varys and Littlefinger. And by the way, the books haven't gotten away from that at all.
Oh, wow, nice.
And they really just, that was their last great scene together, and it just kind of sucks. Who else? God, there's so much. Jorah. I think Jorah's gonna die.
Yeah,
I love Jorah. I love the bear. And somehow the she bears, Lady Mormont's gonna survive, even though she's a 16-year-old. I mean, like, why is she fighting? That's so dumb. I'm gonna fight. Okay, well, nice knowing you. I guess I'll be the Lord of Bear Island now, anyway. So hey, later. And yeah, so a lot of people we are gonna lose half our cast tonight, unfortunately, and I think my biggest worry, Josiah, I don't know how you feel. I'm worried less about this, but I was kind of worried that they were going to go all 2019 on us and make Cersei the big bad and kill the Night King tonight. I don't think that's going to happen now.
Oh, really?
But no, I think, oh God, if they did that, that would be so bad. That would be so terrible. It would be terrible. You set up the Night King and the White Walkers. It's the first scene of the series, and they make them the big bad. And then, like Dan and Dave go, we want to subvert your expectations. Cersei's the big bad with her one zombie and her big bow and arrow and Qyburn. It's like, what? and they're going to pull Wildfire again. I mean, if they do that, I will have a week's worth of videos being pissed off.
Oh man. Well, I kind of want that to happen now, just for your week's worth of videos.
I know. I want to call back to the Whispering Wood and the Green Fork. So from season 1, when Robb Stark tricks Tywin Lannister, remember, and he gets him to go to the Green Fork and bring all of his forces there, and that's how Robb Stark captures Jaime Lannister. I kind of want the same thing to happen. I want everybody to focus on Winterfell, and you don't even see the Night King. Maybe at the end or something like that, and all you do is see him flying down to King's Landing. While everybody he's just picking up more soldiers because people are going to die. So that'll just replenish his army, and he'll just start marching south while they're ticking around at Winterfell.
Yeah, that'd be insane. The prediction I had was that this was going to be kind of the end of this episode was going to be the end of the Night King and the White Walkers and all of that stuff, and then the rest of this season was going to be focused on kind of who was going to be on the Iron Throne. So that's kind of what I thought was going to happen. But you're kind of right. That would be really weird if they had just kind of ended this entire build-up over all these seasons of Night King and stuff right in this episode. That'd be kind of weird.
It'd be weird. I mean, here's how that could work. All right. So you think they kill the Night King tonight. You think the army of the dead is defeated, and they start marching south with their depleted sources. And then maybe there's a division between Jon and Daenerys, and Jon and Daenerys and Cersei are all fighting each other. And then while they're all fighting each other, the Night King comes in.
Right.
And it all just goes to hell. That would be cool as hell. So, I mean, I won't be, I guess I can't say I'll be pissed until the end of the last episode when they, we know for sure the Night King is not coming back or not, but I am definitely worried about that. Now, Cersei is a big bad. She's just not as scary as the Night King. And if we're just going to get a bunch of politicizing, I mean, does anybody think she's going to sit on the Iron Throne? There's no mystery in that. So it'll just be, how many people is Cersei going to kill before she ends up dying? That's
True.
not
True.
That's not a subverted expectation. That's just bad storytelling, in my opinion. But
that's a good point. That's a really good point. Man, I don't think I've really talked too much about Game of Thrones with you before, but these are some interesting theories that you have here. I don't know, like I never read the books or anything, and I just actually kind of went through the series of Game of Thrones. Kind of, I kind of was late to coming to Game of Thrones. I started watching it like at season 4 or 5 or something. So I mean, I really like the show a lot, but I haven't had a chance to rewatch anything from the show or do anything like that yet. So you probably have some more solid theories than I do. But yeah, these so do you have any like predictions of how they're going to end Cersei then? Like how are they going to finish off Cersei in this show? And another question I have, actually, this is kind of a bigger question that I have, is do you think Jon and Daenerys are going to end up fighting each other? Do you think they're going to end up being against each other?
I think that's a possibility. I think that would actually be good.
Yeah,
I think that would be really good. But supposedly this show is supposed to end like the books. I don't believe that for a minute. They are so off book. I mean, they're nowhere near the books. I mean, it is, I can't even explain how far they are off the books.
Yeah. That's what I heard. I heard that they were totally different than the books now. So.
Oh, well, I mean, because I can't spoil anything. In the books, Jon Snow is lying on the ground, bleeding to death. Sansa is still in the Eyrie. Arya's still on Bravos. Bran is still in a cave. Samwell is still in Old Town. Daenerys is still in Meereen. Stannis is still alive. Ramsay Bolton still around. Barristan, like, yeah, there's a bunch of characters that are still alive, and the Sand Snakes are still running around. And the Sand Snakes are much more interesting in the book than they were ever done in the series, but they're still kind of not liked in the books either. So yeah, they're worth a read. It's, I mean, if he ever finishes, I don't know, it's kind of a problem.
Right. Yeah.
But as far as how they're going to end it, I think I think Daenerys is going to die somehow. I don't know
I
how.
kind of think so
But
too.
I think Daenerys is going to die. We still haven't seen Melisandre show up, and I know she's in this season. It's confirmed she's in the season, which leads me to believe that the Night King will be towards the end. Unless she pops up this episode, unless she comes in like last minute and goes flame on, and all of a sudden she's like all OP'd and she's the Phoenix coming in, Dark Phoenix coming in. I love Melisandre. I think at the end, Cersei meets her end with Arya, and this is knowing nothing. This is just if at best as a writer, I would be really bad fan fiction. I just got to admit, but I would probably wearing Jaime's face. She'll kill Cersei. Somebody's gonna use wildfire. I know. I just they've hinted at it too much. There's still tons of it left. So King's Landing is effed.
Yeah.
No matter what. But it really looks like the thing that bothers me is it really looks like they're leading Tyrion to his death, which I was like, oh, I always thought that's the one guy who would survive because George R. Martin has said that I think that was his wife's favorite character, and unless he secretly kind of doesn't like his wife, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I don't want to see. But you got to expect that from this show. Here's the problem with the show, that it just misses the point of the books. That whole subversion of expectations thing that Rian Johnson likes to put out there, George R. R. Martin actually does it correctly. The big thing he does in the books is he builds up these plans and they all go to hell and they end up not happening the way everything was planned, but then they do later, but it ends up helping somebody else. Like, it's really hard to explain, but it's not all based on betrayal. And it seems like Dan and Dave in the show are just like, are on this, Game of Thrones is about betrayal, and that we gotta have somebody betraying somebody. And it's like that's not always it. And that's not always subverting expectation, because now everybody's expecting it. Even Charlie at Emergency Awesome did a video like, what's going to be the betrayal, and that's what Game of Thrones is all about. I'm all, no, that's not what it's about. It's supposed to be about like, I'll equate it to Star Wars. It's supposed to be about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader dying in the first act, and their kids, and the people you not expect being heroes, like Tyrion and Arya and a bastard Jon Snow, and this little girl Daenerys who grows up to be this dragon queen and stuff. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah. Absolutely. Honestly, Tyrion dying might just destroy my soul. Like, he's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
The scenes with like all the characters around the fire in episode 2, and Jaime knighting Brienne is like probably one of my favorite scenes of all time in Game of Thrones.
That was good.
Absolutely incredible. Him knighting Brienne was just so emotional, and what's his name? The Podrick singing the song and stuff was just
Jenny of Old Stones.
Oh man, so good.
Which is from the books. It's from the books. They added lyrics. The thing that bothered me, I loved hearing Jenny of Old Stones, and it's a great story, and the man, everything, every little detail in these books has a major history about it, and that history helps move the story forward. So this is why it takes George so long to write these books, because Jenny of Old Stones is about a character that Arya might have ran into in the 3rd book, and her whole backstory is kind of foreshadowing everything that's going on in the story. That's how deep it gets. So at the end, though, Dave Benioff is talking about Jenny of Old Stones, and he says he's talking about the pod singing the song, and he goes, "Yeah, I think that's a song from the books." And I like perked up. I'm like, "You think?" You effing think it's from the books?
Wow.
Bruh. You better know it's from the books, and you better know the lyrics. And
wow.
So,
that's surprising.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
Can't even remember a song from the books. Wow. Wow, we have a $10 super chat from Marvel Fan. Thank you for that, Marvel Fan. I really appreciate that. I can't watch any more MCU movies after what they did to the Hulk. In the comics, he one punches Captain Marvel into orbit, and yet he gets no moment, and she does against Thanos. Thor fans should be just as upset. So Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I don't like the way they handled Thor and Hulk by the end of this movie.
Agreed.
So I didn't mind how they started off in this movie, but how they ended was terrible. And if this is the end of Thor, if the last thing we see of Thor is him in some sort of knit sweater, basically handing his entire kingdom or whatever his people to Valkyrie and stuff, it's just like I don't want that to be the end of Thor. I want to see Thor like the way that we have grown to love Thor and stuff. And yeah, the whole Hulk thing. I can't stand the way that they ended with Hulk too. Yeah, I totally agree with you on those things, Marvel fans. So, what do you think about that, Gary?
I totally agree. And Hulk is a force of nature. He is generally the most powerful thing in Marvel universe. There was a whole story called World War Hulk, where all the Marvel heroes couldn't stop him when he was coming back to Earth. Long story. He got sent away from Earth, and he came back and he was really pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going after Reed Richards, and Silver Surfer couldn't stop him. And
That'd be incredible, man. I would love to see
that's Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, even like Professor Hulk probably like loses it sometimes in the comics too, right? And
yeah, Professor Hulk. Remember, it's fused. It's not Bruce Banner Green Hulk. It is their personalities are fused. So it's a way more confident Bruce Banner, who's a little bit toxic masculinity, but not toxic, just being masculine, being a big green badass. And Professor Hulk does pop Thanos in the mouth, in the book. Well, of course, Thanos then has the Infinity Gauntlet and commit. The thing is, another thing that didn't make sense, and we talked about it, was Thanos pulling the gem off to punch Captain Marvel. He doesn't need to close his fist. He's got the gauntlet on. He is a Titan. He could have just popped her with his other hand. He didn't need the gauntlet. Okay, he's got power coursing through him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. It was just kind of it was weird how like it was pretty much just Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, just green throughout the movie, and it was just kind of weird in that aspect. And go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, like, I agree with you. It started out great. I loved those things in the beginning. I thought it was funny. I love the whole selfie thing, the Thor gag. I thought they would fix it because I was digging it at first, and it really did make sense that they would be broken. And guess what? They actually showed a female character broken too. They showed Scarlett Johansson was breaking down and getting fussy with people and stuff, and letting her her hair color grow out, and that was it. I was surprised that they wrote a female character like human. And it's because she's been a well-developed character. Scarlett Johansson has played her great. And honestly, she's been a better Black Widow than I ever thought she could be.
Yeah.
And added so much to the character. But to go on with that gag was too much for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Black Widow is one of the best written female characters in movie history, to be completely honest. I think her entire storyline has just been incredible up to this point. And I'm kind of nervous. I just hope that whatever they do with this prequel movie about her, it just is good. Because she deserves it at this point. And if they mess around with that and ruin that, I'm gonna be very, very unhappy about that. So let's see here. We have another $10 super chat from Marvel fan. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. The Russo brothers may be good at directing intrigue, but Whedon was much better at doing the team movie. Plus, he respected the canon and recognized he didn't create the characters of this universe.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, Age of Ultron happened. The farm scene was his idea, not Marvel's, but apparently there was a ton of tampering in that movie.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
I don't like Joss Whedon's act outside of entertainment. I think can be very foul. I've known somebody who was a bit player in Buffy who worked with him and said he's pretty foul in real life.
Okay.
But he is a talented guy. He was one of the architects of the MCU. The architects of the MCU, by the way, was not Kevin Feige at first. He was part of it, but it was Jon Favreau, it was Joss Whedon, Edgar Wright, and a bunch of comic book writers that all got shown the door when Kevin Feige took over, by the way. all got shown the door.
Yeah.
And Joss Whedon's the reason it's here, period. So and the first Avengers movie is still like up there with one of the best with me. You know, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, you know, and Iron Man are still the best.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally agree with you. Joss Whedon, it was better at the team aspect of it. He's also a little better at dialogue.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, I do agree that I think he is better at the team aspect of it. I think that the Russo brothers overall are better at making the movies and stuff. And I think that they're better at introducing conflict into the movies. But I think that Whedon did a fantastic job with introducing conflict in the team. I think that he did a really good job with that. So
yep.
Thank you for those super chats again, Marvel fan. I really appreciate that a lot. Reverse Alex has a $5 super chat. Almost forgot to support the channel. Did you ever get a chance to watch my Captain Marvel parody video I linked on Twitter? Sorry for being pushy. I don't think I had a chance to watch that yet, but if you want to re-tag me on that, then I will definitely check it out. And I appreciate you supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. I don't require it at all, but I do appreciate that, Alex. So thank you so much for that. So thank you. Let's see. I'm excited to see your Captain Marvel parody video though. So definitely again.
Anything that's it's therapeutic to watch these things. So thank you for making it, Reverse Alex.
Yes. Are you still making Brie Larson videos and stuff too? So
oh yeah. And the only reason I was watching D-Day Cobra posted something with you in it, and it was the live stream with you and Jeremy was talking about the Captain Marvel bots. He's all, and the more you give me shit, the more I'm gonna make videos. You know, and like and I'm like, you know what? And then I looked up and I checked my email, and 3 emails in a row just call me, you know, misogynist and blah 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 blah. You're an istophobe and wow. I just, you know, for one, just to unsolicited advice. Don't put that in the title, or I'm not going to read the entire email. If you want to like, hey, I'm your biggest fan, and then insult me at the end. That way I'll read your video or I'll read your email and go, oh, you got me. Yes. You know, yeah, see, that's, yeah. But if you just like lead with you're a jackass or something like this. Yeah, I know. Well,
yeah,
I know.
Exactly. You got to use Brie Larson as the bait.
Yes. So today, I don't know if you've ever done this. So I came up with like I talked to you about it a little bit on Friday. I came up with another, like the best title for a video. I'm like, I've got to make a video now just to use this title. And it worked out. So
yeah, nice.
It'll be out in a couple hours.
Cool. I'm excited for that.
Thanks.
Let's see. Orange Hat Review says, my question is, why did they do the whole openly gay character thing? Did it serve the plot? No, it didn't. Why do they feel the need to normalize things already normalized? Well, I don't know what you thought about that, Gary, but I actually didn't have a problem with how they handled that scene. I thought that it was well done. I thought that it still served the story as far as like them showing how they were dealing with what happened to them after the snap. And the things that Captain America was saying to that guy and stuff was like, you know, we have to still deal with what's happening now, and we have to move on from that, and we have to grow from that and stuff. So I thought how they handled that scene was good, and it didn't really bother me that they introduced a gay character in that scene. So
the scene itself was fine. I totally agree with you. It was done within the story, moved the story forward, and it was no problem. Here's the problem I have, not with the scene, but what draws attention to the scene is Brie Larson and Kevin Feige and everybody else making a big damn deal about something that wasn't controversial. It hasn't been controversial since the 90s, 2 decades ago. And even then, to me, it wasn't controversial. And it's just something, if they just put it in the movie and never talked about it, that would be fine. But it becomes noticeable. So Orange Hat Reviews, it becomes an obvious virtue signal because that's all they effing talk about. They don't talk about what's in the movie. They talk about it's got to be more diverse and inclusive. And listen, Hollywood does not have a lack of LGBTQ representation. I work there. I think it's plenty represented there. It's not a problem anymore. I think that there's certain powers that be within that community might have a problem with it being normalized. I know that sounds weird, but I think some of the people who are activists, what does an activist do when they have nothing to be activists about anymore?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest problem. I think they feel like, I think some people, not all, because I live in San Francisco, okay, and people do not walk around all day going, "Hi, I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay."
Yeah.
I mean, like, it got pointed on my live stream. I don't walk around going, "Yeah, I'm straight. I'm straight."
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm married and straight. No, people don't do that. Okay. So, it's the activists, the political activists that have to keep stirring this stuff up so they have a job. Basically.
That's a really, really good point. That's a really good point. I didn't even think about it that way, but you're totally correct for sure.
Yeah. Because it is so not a thing. I mean, it is really boring at this point. I mean, honestly, we've had entire sitcoms based on it. It's not a big deal anymore. I'm sure it is to some people. What people don't like, what I don't like, what I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you, is having stuff thrown in their face and forced on them, even if it's stuff they agree with. People just have a general aversion to being told you have to do this or you have to do that. And I do. It's called being human. It's called, we all have authority issues a little bit. So when somebody who thinks their farts don't stink starts telling us what to do, I think that for general rule out there is people tend to not want to do that just because that person is telling me to do it. And that's what's really going on. I think that's the biggest problem.
And I mean, kind of speaking from my own experiences, that's why I have a lot of problems with a lot of the Christian films that are made as well, because it's kind of the same way sometimes, where like it's not about telling a good story, it's not about writing complex, great characters. It's about trying to push out your beliefs on other people and stuff. And that's kind of why I have a problem with a lot of Christian films that are made as well, is because at the end of the day, I don't go to the theater to get preached at by these things or be told how to think. I go to the theaters to experience what these characters are going through, and then that's how you can impact me, is by bringing me through this journey with these characters and seeing how they deal with these certain tough situations in their lives and all that stuff. So,
yeah, a bad analogy would be, okay, I hate seafood. I can't stand it. I can't stand the smell, the sight of it. But I don't think it shouldn't exist. I don't think people shouldn't eat it. People can eat it in front of me. I'm not going to look. I mean, like, it's a weird thing. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Sure.
But I don't think you're a less of a person if you like seafood. And if you want to eat seafood in front of me and not be obnoxious about it, that's fine. I mean, it's the smell that, it's dumb. I know people love seafood, especially living in San Francisco. It kind of sucks to not like seafood because it's all over the place here. And I don't go to Fisherman Wharf. I'll get sick to my stomach. But it still should exist. And I just don't like it. And I don't want it shoved in my face all the time. But like I said, it's not the best analogy in the world, but that's kind of how I feel about it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Mark Taylor says, "Geez, I just had this conversation with my youngest son this morning. People will rail against being told what to do. America has gone from being mostly liberal to being forced down toward the far right because of all this stupidity." And I just want to say to that, I don't think you even need to be like right anymore. Like, even if you're center, that's enough to make these far left SJW people freak out. Like, just, I don't want to get too political or anything, but just look at like things like in the Democratic Party, like any of the moderate candidates right now are being attacked by most of the Democrats because they aren't far left enough for them and stuff. So, you don't, if you're just a center person like I am, usually I kind of tend to be more center than anything. Even people like us are just attacked nowadays because we just have common sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Here. Yeah. Here I'm probably a fundamentalist because I'm center. I get called a fence sitter. It's like, no, just to buy it. It's by, most people are by the issue. Okay. I would say the vast majority of people are center. They might lean one way or the other on a certain issue. It's most of us just want to enjoy our entertainment and don't want to be preached at by a bunch of people who go to Coke parties and get flown around in like Lear jets and walk around with, $10,000 designer freaking sunglasses on and stuff. I just don't need to be told what to do. I respect what they do. I respect their talent. I respect acting in the art form. And you know what doesn't get talked about in Hollywood anymore is the joy and the reverence for the art form. That is very difficult to do. It's very difficult to make a movie. It's very difficult to act. It's very difficult to write. Make special effects, costumes. These are very, you have to be super uber talented to pull this stuff off. And with all that competition to rise above it, and you want to use that to talk about politics that obviously most actors pay attention to, like on their Twitter account or have their assistant tell them stuff, because they honestly don't care. They're too busy acting and partying their asses off. So, I mean, really, I don't know. Have respect for your craft. For one.
I don't know. That's why I have a big problem with why I've been having a big problem with the Oscars recently, is because the Oscars to me should be like the epitome of celebrating film and the art of filmmaking. And it feels like it's become just such a political time and stuff every year now. And it's like, that's not why I watch the Oscars. I watch the Oscars to celebrate my love of film. And it just isn't really that way anymore. And it's just really sad to be that way now. So
yep. It is. I mean, we couldn't get a Lord of the Rings today.
No,
not in the truest sense. They would feel like they would have to have some sort of representation in it.
Yep.
And they wouldn't make it the way it was in the books. Now, the reason, the Lord, I'm just staring at your poster in the background. The reason why, to me, that is the perfect franchise is because Peter Jackson got lightning in a bottle and loved the source material. You could tell he adored it. And oh, by the way, female writers on that as well. And Philippa Boyan's was brilliant, wrote brilliant scripts, and she loved the material, and it showed through in the screen. And that's why we got these masterpieces that we're not even going to get, because as they're adapting stuff, as the Lord of the Rings series is coming to Amazon, what's the first thing they're going to think about? Well, we got to make sure that we satisfy the Mary Sue and IO9 and the Daily Mail and who else before we think about having a good story.
Yeah. And that's why I'm absolutely terrified about the Lord of the Rings series right now. Like, now that you've mentioned that and stuff, it's like, I feel like it's been a long time since we've had like a really, really great movie that'll just carry on throughout time and stuff. Like, and that, I think that just is because a lot of Hollywood is just so washed up now with being so worried about being politically correct in all these ways. And I think one of the better directors working today who hasn't really been concerned about all of that nonsense is probably Denis Villeneuve, who has been making just incredible movies. And I would say him and Christopher Nolan, for the most part, has been pretty good still as well. I would say those two are probably some of the only people that are still making movies that are going to be timeless and stuff. So
Matthew Vaughn is a good one. He did Kingsman.
Yeah.
That's and Layer Cake. I don't know if you've ever seen Layer Cake. It's one of the best damn movies ever made.
I have not seen that. No.
Oh, Daniel Craig. It's the reason he got the Bond role, in my opinion.
Okay. Cool.
So watch Layer Cake. It's freaking fantastic. And Cary, I keep saying his last name wrong, but he's going to be a star. Is Cary Fukunaga. Cary Fukunaga. He's from the Bay Area. He's directing the next James Bond movie. Hopefully it's not woke, but he did True Detective season 1. He directed all the episodes. He did Maniac. The dude is good. He is solidly good, and he's just a kid, so he's going to really rise and shine.
That's awesome. Yeah. Nice.
All right, buddy. I got to get going, man. I'm sorry. I got to bug out on you.
No, I appreciate you coming on, and it was a lot of fun, and can't wait to talk to you about the Battle of Winterfell after tonight. So
definitely. Well, I'll get you on next week, and we'll talk about it. So
okay, cool. Sounds good, Gary. Thank you so much.
Take care, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Bye.
See you, Josiah.
All All right, let's see. Well, thank you. Oh, Caitlin, thank you for coming on and thank you for helping mod the chat. I really appreciate that. Let's see what you guys are talking about here. Lord of the Rings series, Gandalf and Radagast will be gay lovers. Oh my gosh, that just honestly just makes me want to cry hearing that. Let's see here. Female Bond is coming. It's I honestly, guys, I don't really keep up too much on Bond, so I don't really know too much about it. Is that confirmed? Is that basically the direction that they're going in with James Bond? I never was really a big Bond fan, so I don't really follow James Bond that much here. Let's see. But yeah, anyway, yeah, guys, I'm being completely honest here. Nothing terrifies me more right now than what they do to the Lord of the Rings Amazon series. Like, that is what I have my eye on right now. That's what I'm really just paying attention to, because they can't mess that up. They just can't mess that up. I will not be happy at all if they mess that up, and I will be talking about that at length if they do mess around with that in a really negative way. I don't need identity politics in my Middle Earth stuff, okay? I don't need that. I don't need a woke Middle Earth. That's just not what I need. And if they do that, I will be pissed beyond belief. Beyond belief. You guys already know how mad I would be if that happened. So, and there are things that are pointing out that I could point out that they've been doing that makes me very excited for it. Let me see if I can find Lord of the Rings on Prime. Okay, let me pull up their Twitter page here. Let me screen share this with you guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, so like the thing that there's hints that make me very excited for this series. Like, I think the best thing that they did was have, like, the very first thing that they posted back in February for the series was, I wisely started with a map. J.R.R. Tolkien. They started with a J.R.R. Tolkien quote, which I think was perfect. And I think that was exactly what they needed to do. And I hope that that's a sign that they are really going to try to do this series justice and honor Tolkien's legacy with this series. And then they started to post, like, quotes from the book. 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky. 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all into the darkness. Bind them in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie. So the fact that they are using quotes from Lord of the Rings and from Tolkien does help me not be quite as nervous about it, But at the same time, there's still that little part of me in the very back of my mind that is still terrified. So yeah. Those are just kind of my thoughts about it. But yeah, I don't know. It really freaks me out. So yeah, if they did anything like a female Gandalf, no, I'm serious, guys. They can't mess with this story. They can't mess with this story at all. If they do one thing that will be, identity politics, Lord of the Rings, nope, I will not deal with that. I woke and was still blind. I'm sorry to hear that, blind Josiah. Maybe if you clean your glasses off, you'll be able to see better. Transgolas. Oh my gosh. Come on. When will that Lord of the Rings series be available? I don't believe it's going to be released until 2021, I think. So it's got a ways to go. What is your setup for making videos? Camera, microphone, etc. Well, I use a Canon G7X Mark II to do my videos with, and then I have a Logitech webcam that I do my live streams with, and then I have a blue ball microphone or whatever it's called, blue snowball microphone. So I have a snowball microphone that I record the audio with, and I use Final Cut Pro 7 or sorry, Final Cut Pro X for my video editing and stuff. So yeah. Look, I'm Chinese and I don't want to see Chinese elves or Chinese dwarves running around Middle Earth. Well, that's because you are someone with common sense, Nessie, and I really appreciate that. You know, it's J.R.R. Tolkien wrote Middle Earth as kind of like the mythology of Great Britain, of Northern Europe and stuff. And he really tried to make Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, the mythology of Great Britain and stuff and Northern Europe. And he did a fantastic job with it. And that's the reason why you don't see Chinese elves or anything. It's because what he did was he was taking things from like Nordic myths and things and from all these different mythologies that have already been established and kind of putting his own take on it and creating something new with it. And you're basically messing with a mythology at this point if you're messing around with Middle Earth and stuff. So plus it's not Earth. Diversity in on other worlds than Earth doesn't make sense unless that was how it was originally written. Yeah, I mean it's still a fantasy world and stuff, but that doesn't matter to Hollywood. They love to put diversity in anything now. So Tolkien bases Lord of the Rings off experiences in World War I. To make it woke would be blasphemy. Totally agree with that. Driving mayhem. So all we can do is just hope that doesn't happen. And yeah, let's just hope for the best, everyone. Let's hope for the best. Anyway, we hit the 2-hour mark, so I'm probably going to be ending this stream here. I'm gonna go check out Bumblebee, and we can talk about that tomorrow a little bit on my stream tomorrow. The Game of Thrones stream tomorrow will probably be in the evening sometime tomorrow. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I think we will go ahead and end here. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you for all of your super chats. Thank you for all of your donations, all of your generosity. Thank you for being a part of this stream. Thank you for all of your comments. Just thank you so much for everything, guys. Let's put some flaming emojis in the chat to close off this stream. I'm super excited. I do have some really, really awesome ideas that I'm cooking up right now. Some really, really awesome things that I have in the works right now that I can't wait to show you guys eventually. Some really awesome ideas that I'm really starting to flesh out for some things like merch and also a new video series that I'm working on as well. You won't be able to see this new video series for a while because it's still in early development, but it's going to be something that's going to be a lot more complex than the things that I'm doing right now. So I'm really excited about that. So I will definitely keep you guys updated on the information for that. With that being said, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for everything. And I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Hope to see you there for the Game of Thrones stream. I can't wait for the Battle of Winterfell tonight. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And I'll talk to you later. Have a great night. Bye.